Hello, my name is Exibu, and this is Unity of Command 2 Barbarossa DLC Sevastopol Assault Mission on Hard. 3, 2, 1! Okay, let's look at this mission, because Sevastopol Assault is actually... It's interesting in the sense that this is the mission that made me look into the possibility of going through this DLC on Hard, actually, because... If you don't know, Sevastopol Assault, you can't play it if you do everything right in Barbarossa DLC, because the only way to play it in your normal campaign is through, if you fail in the Crimea mission, where you need to take Sevastopol. By the way, I'm taking the Mackenzievist, I don't know what it is, on turn 1, even though the as far as I remember, the deadline is 3, but you really need to take that first objective because you need to push even further very quickly. Anyway, so back to the backstory. So, and as you can see, by the way, I am already blocking off the supply for the coastal battery, for coastal batteries 10. And so to the backstory. So if you don't take Sevastopol, which is actually kind of difficult in Crimea, in the Crimea mission, because I've never found it to be particularly difficult. And actually, this mission is not too difficult either. And so, yeah, and I didn't know that, all right, when I first went through that DLC. And yes, and then I realized, okay, so at the beginning of the last conference, it tells you actually if that you've taken Sevastopol, you're not getting anywhere. By the way, I made a mistake there, so the Soviets actually managed to block my supply lines, but it's not going to be a problem. Not yet, because like the supply situation here is extremely easy. You've got plenty of trucks to move around, even though you'll probably have to move them around a little bit, but you've got plenty of supply anyway. So yeah, and then I realized, because at the beginning of the last conference, if you took Sevastopol in Crimea, they tell you that you actually get 250 points and 250 prestige, which is great. And so, yeah, and so I was facing the fact that there's no way for me to look at this mission as part of the campaign, because I'm a perfectionist in that, at least in that regard, and I really want to have all those gold medals for finishing missions, right? So, yeah, I'm not gonna not complete a mission properly, right? So, yeah, I went for the single mission, and I played this, and I probably managed to complete it on like my second try on classic. So I saw like it was my second and third try, and each of those tries that failed, I saw that it was just stupid mistakes or not knowing what would happen, but it wasn't too big of a deal. By the way, the Soviets actually have some naval support, and it's a good idea to actually have someone on that coast in the north, because actually getting naval bombardment in the south is not a great idea, because that's one of your main pivots, not pivots, vectors of attack are. So you really want those units in top condition. And as you can see, I'm really moving ahead very, very fast. As far as I remember, Balaclava is going to be... yeah, that's where the mask name comes from. Balaclava is rather difficult. As far as I remember, I used the flying artillery ability. It's valuable, but it's totally worth it. Actually didn't use it in a real fortification. Maxim Gorky fort is actually not too difficult to take, and the deadline is rather lax, so but as you can see, I've also managed to encircle a huge number of Soviet troops by this point. So that's actually what you should aim for, because the Soviets have crap loads of troops, and yeah, you should be careful of that. And so, yeah, so when I went through this mission, and this is obviously a hard playthrough, I went through it on Classic, and this is me using, by the way, flying artillery. I went through it on Classic, and I realized it was easy. So let's try it, because I don't have a campaign, this is a single mission. So I went through it on Hard, and yeah, it was not much more difficult. I found it was doable. It was more difficult, obviously, but it was still very manageable, as you can see. And so, and from there on, okay, so I might not be a lost cause for playing on Hard. So, yeah, as I previously believed. And so, yeah, I've decided to go for it, and yeah, and go with the entire campaign. and actually play through all of the missions in the entire campaign, and actually, well, deliver my playthroughs to you, which is brilliant. And yeah, the Soviets are trying to break out, but this is not going to help them. One thing that I found maybe to be a not particularly great design decision in terms of whether you get to this mission or not is the fact, okay, and Maxim Gorky is mine, is that as you can see, the size of this map, the scale of this map is the same as that of the Crimea mission, right? So it's not any difference, right? The Soviets have more troops here, but otherwise it's like the same map. It's not huge, and yeah, you can just advance and advance. So and really, it's really easy to get Sevastopol in Crimea. So it's very easy not to get to this mission, and you might not be aware of it if you don't look at the campaign diagram and everything. So. Yeah, one important thing here is that you should worry about your supply lines, because eventually, like the Soviets, if you are careless, the Soviets will not hesitate to take your supply hub, even if it means like suicidal run, but it still will. That's what a real player would do, actually, because I've seen people complain about that on. In reviews that the AI does like suicide runs and everything, but if you the AI is based essentially on what a real player would do, and it's what a real player would do. If a real player would see that they're losing, they would try everything. They would go aggressive and do whatever they can and take chances to. It's just good strategy to screw with the other player, right? And so at this point, as you can see, so all of the objectives are mine, as far as I can see. And there's not much else to talk about. At this point, I've got, like, way ahead of the deadline. I've just been able to actually tell the story of my going hard. And so at this point, I'm just mopping up the enemy troops and not doing anything else. Alright, thank you for watching, and until next mission.